I think in your school, in your colleges, you already aware about the computer system. Building blocks of computer system. We have one CPU, which is central processing unit. We have one memory and ports in which the things are connected, like all the input and output devices. So this is the simplest block diagram which is possible for computer. Uh, so at least we need a CPU which process all the thing, whether we have to add, whether we have to subtract, all the kind of operation, uh, conditional statement, all these things. What we have to do, we need some kind of processing element, which we call CPU, which is a standard term for that processing element. This is central processing unit, and we have I/O ports in which we connect input devices like keyboard, mouse, and other thing. Simplest, and we may have output device to see the result like printer and our screen or monitor. Memory, you know that we have some kind of memory in which the programs are stored and we can do all these things. Little bit about the memory we will discuss in detail also, that we may have two types kinds of memory. One is read write memory, one is read only memory, which you have already learned so many time in school and colleges days. Read only memory, that means we cannot change the content of that memory. Read write memory, in which we can change the content of the memory. So of course both memory are required in our system, because something we do not want to alter by the user, so we store all these things in the read only memory. And if we want to edit n number of time, we want to modify the program like this one, so we have uh, read write memory, and which is often termed as RAM. Not very correct term for that, but somehow it has become popular that we all refer to RAM actually. But basically we have two. One is read write memory and one is read only memory. So, but in most of the book and books, you will find this is written as RAM and ROM, which is slightly improper to use that word in this connection, in this reference. In this reference, we have one kind read only memory and one is read write memory. This is the simplest thing which you know actually. For the computer system, we have uh, I/O, that means input and output, CPU, which is central processing unit, and we have memory, and they all are connected with bus, which is nothing but a group of wires. So we call bus because this is generally not a single wire, it is a multiple wire, rather 4, 8, or 16 kind of thing, in the power of 2. So that is why they call bus, but this is simply a group of wire which communicate one device to another device by sending some signal or voltage level to one device to another device. Of course, if we enlarge our CPU, in CPU we can have say registers. We have many things. Basically, we have registers, arithmetic and logic unit, which is often referred as ALU, and control unit. So in whole computer, CPU is the most important thing, and in the same thing is done by the control unit. So as CPU is the main part of the computer system, control unit is the main part of the CPU. CPU in the control unit controls all the operations which is uh, being done in the computer system while we executing the programs and other things. So ALU and registers are nothing. Also, they are some kind of memory you can see. So they are also like a memory, that is, they can store some data on register. So basically, the objective is whenever anything, any operation has to be performed, these data has to be in the register if possible, and that data from the register can be used in the arithmetic and logic unit, and then the process will be done, and control unit synchronizes all these things by this manner. So these are the simplest thing, and you have read so many times. With the computer, we have at least the buses also may be termed as internal bus or external bus. Within the CPU, the buses which we have, they are internal bus, internal bus, and outside the CPU, we call this is the external bus. Group of wires, it may be same width or it may be have a different width. Control unit, if you see, computer, then we can enlarge CPU and then we can enlarge control unit. In control unit also we have some kind of memory which is called control memory, and we have again decoders of control unit and sequencing logic which controls the sequence of, you can say, sequence of events, that first this happened, then this happened, this happened. So suppose for the, if you want to add two things, so first one data has to come, then another data has to come, has to come, like this way. So this is the simplest thing which can be explained, that computer, we have IO, memory, CPU are all connected with this. Again, we have many components, mainly registers, ALU and control unit, and they also are connected by the internal bus. And then in control unit, we have also have a control memory and registers and decoders and sequencing logic and all these things. Then some definition just to give that structure, the way in which the components are interrelated, and function, the operation of each individual component as a part of the structure. So function is how ALU works, how registers works, how control unit works, how they are interrelated with each other. This is what we have shown in the figure, that the major structural components of a CPU are control unit, the operation of the CPU, and hence the computer. So basically, it's control all the things. Computers to control the CPU functioning, and of course, outside also. Logic unit, as its name suggests, ALU, which performs the data processing, arithmetic and logic operation, addition, subtraction, and all the logical operation. Register provides storage or memory internal to the CPU. So these registers are given a special name because they are also a memory, but they are given a special name because they are inside the CPU. They work very fast as compared to other memory. So registers are just given a specific name because they are within the CPU or inside the CPU, and they are very register to register transfer is the fastest communication which happens in the computer system. Some processor also give the parameter that how fast the computer is. So because we can transfer data from anywhere to any one device to another device, transfer is the fastest transfer which happen, because anything which is inside the CPU is the faster than anything which is outside the CPU. So that is why the some memory, some operation which needed very frequently and which needs very fast access, all the organization try to keep that data inside the CPU. Main function of computer, as they are the main function but not limited to that one. Data processing, that is the data comes, it will do some processing depending upon the instructions. That means if you want to add, if you give add instruction, it will add the data. If you give subtract, it will subtract. Give compare the data, it will compare. If you want to complement the data, it will complement. If you want to add to data, it will add. So this is the processing. Data storage, that is, if you want to see the result after some time, the data has to be stored somewhere. So that is why we have a storage also. Data movement, because as we have seen, and we have ALU. So suppose some register data has to be added. So data has to be transferred from one place to another place. Data is there in the register. So one data has to be transferred in ALU. Another data has to be transferred in ALU so that they can be added. So data movement will be there. Just to sequence the event, suppose two data has to be needed. So first thing, first data one will available, second data must be available. Only then the add instruction has to be there. Otherwise, suppose if first data is given and the add instruction will be given, will be generated, because add need at least two data to be added, and that is why we call this is the binary operator. So binary operator means it needs two data, and generally we have a special name, operand. Operands on which data act upon. So if you say want to add 3 plus 5, later 3 and 5 are the operands on which the plus operator has to be operated. People will sequence the event so that the operands are present at the proper time. Add instruction has to be given proper time. Only then some kind of display instruction will be there. Otherwise, the result will not be stored. We need, so every process needs some kind of sequencing. First, operand or data has to be in the proper place. Then operation or operator instruction has to be generated, and then some kind of instruction has to be generated which will display the result and which will also store the result. So this is the basic functioning, that we have data or operand, then it has to be transferred to CPU, then the instruction is there that will be processed, and result will be stored in a storage device, and result can be also seen in the like printer or screen. Central processing unit controls the operation of the computer and performs its data processing function, often simply referred to as the processor. Store data. We will discuss memory in detail in, because there are two terms which will be used actually. One is the memory and one is the storage, and they have a different function altogether. Moves data between the computer and its external environment. External environment means a thing which is other than CPU. outside the CPU is the external environment. Inside the CPU is the, just to mention, say historically, there have been two types of computers. Fixed program computers, their function is very specific and they couldn't be programmed, like calculator types of thing. Stored program computers, these can be programmed to carry out many different tasks. Applications are stored on them. Hence the name. The modern computers are based on a stored program concept introduced by John von Neumann. Remember this name? A very important name, John von Neumann. This one. John von Neumann is a scientist and mathematician in German, John von Neumann, and which all the computers which are nowadays used, they are basically based on this John von Neumann concept. Somewhere in mid 40s, 1945, gave the concept of a stored program computer. Because anything which can compute could be called computer, but the first revolutionary concept which is given by John von Neumann, in which is gives that the all the programs which have to be executed, they have to be stored in memory before execution, and that is the name comes stored program. You are familiar with this concept, might be that whenever we write program in C and anything, loaded into main memory before going to be executed. So John Furman gives that there are two major say concept is there. First, that program and data share the same memory. That is, we have one memory and one say processor. So programs and data both share the same memory, and program has to be loaded into main memory before going to be executed. And this is the wonderful concept which was given by, and which is given in 1945 around, and still most of the computers which we are using, they are based on a store program concept. So that is why we have uh, in the store program concept, programs and data are storage in a storage unit called memories and are treated the same. That is, they share the same memory. There are two main architectures. One is Princeton architecture and one is Harvard architecture. So historically, that is broadly we can divide the architecture in two parts. One is the Princeton and one is the hardware. Uh, the this is, if you can see, the Princeton. The Princeton or von Neumann architecture is a theoretical computer design based on the concept where programs and data are stored in the same memory. The concept was designed, excuse me, of almost all modern computers. In contrast to Pista architecture, we have Harvard architecture. The Harvard based on the original Harvard Mark I relay based control system, which employs separate buses. So in this is the separate. The concept is separate. So in this case, the program and data, they are stored in different memory, in the separate memory. So basic difference is the basic difference is main difference is in the von Neumann or Princeton architecture, the program and data they shares the same memory. In the Harvard architecture, the program and data they are stored in the. This is the main difference. So most of the system which we use general purpose computer, they are based on the Princeton architecture, and the specific system which are small, they are generally based on the Harvard architecture, where the program and data they are separate. This is John von Neumann machine, a store program concept, Princeton architecture, processor and memory, and they both program and data they are stored in memory. So other than processor memory, we have input output devices, which are the IO systems. So basically, three systems are there: three component processor, memory, and IO, and main memory is shown here. And program and data they share the same memory in John von Neumann machine, or so actually these three terms, John von Neumann, stored program, and Princeton, generally they refer to the same concept in which the program and data they are uh, share the same memory. If you see this one, Harvard architecture, the program memory and data memory, they are different and in the processor. So this picture gives you a very clear idea that the Princeton architecture, program and data, they share the same memory. In Harvard architecture, the program memory and data memory, they are different. So data are kept in another memory, program will kept in the another memory. And you can see the microcontroller, some microcontroller are based on the Harvard architecture, when all the computer which we use, say like Cray 1, Cray 2, all these are the program and data. So just to read some few things about, say, von Neumann model, the invention of stored program computers has been ascribed to a mathematician John von Neumann, who was a contemporary of Maclay and Eckert. Computers have become known as von Neumann architecture system. Today's stored program computers have the following characteristics: three hardware system, a central processing unit, a main memory system, and IO system. The capacity to carry out sequential instruction processing. Sequential instruction processing means that is, if you write program, then you see that whatever you write, first the first instruction will be executed, then second instruction, then third instruction, then fourth instruction, unless until if you find some kind of conditional jump or unconditional jump instruction. Path between the CPU and main memory and so on. This is also called IAS. This is the Institute of Advanced Studies. This is the institute. So, actually, this is the concept is given, and IAS is in Institute of Advanced Studies. They actually develop some kind of computer. So, this machine also referred to as a IAS Princeton computer model by von Neumann group. We have main memory. This is CPU. We have arithmetic logic unit. We have program control unit, and we have. So whenever we write program, first the program has to be uploaded into main memory to CPU. CPU will process or operate on the whatever the instruction is supplied to the arithmetic logic unit, and this has to be in the memory, and then IO equipment for displaying the devices, displaying the result to the screen or printer. Again, the IS computer also the same thing, consists of main memory, which stores, that is, this is the more specific computer. To, as we started from the general process block diagram, von Neumann concept, then we have Princeton architecture, and this is the actual computer model which was developed by the Institute of Advanced Studies. And then IAS computer consists of a main memory which stores both data and instructions, program. So this is the program. And ALU capable of operating on binary data, which interprets the instruction in memory and causes them to be executed. Input and output equipment operated by one thing you can see here, an arithmetic logic unit capable of operating on binary data. And this is all we know, that computer understands only the language of zeros and one, which is the binary language. We always say that that is why we know the importance of the binary numbers. We know the importance of zeros and ones, and all the number, they can be represented in binary number, and they can be easily uh, converted from decimal to binary and binary to decimal by certain operation, and inside the CPU inside the computer as a zeros and one, strings of zeros and one always. So whether it is 3 plus 5, it will be converted to binary. Even the plus will also be converted to binary, remember. So 3 will be converted to binary, 5 will be converted to binary, and we have to develop some kind of binary sequence for plus. 3 is 11, 5 is 101. For plus, we can create 111. So we have to write all these binary string, binary numbers, binary operator, then another binary number. So remember, everything, whether it is instruction, whether it is operand, all these has to be converted to binary number before going to be CPU. So that is the importance of binary number, and that is why uh, to convert all the uh, language program to the low level language, which we call machine language. So whatever we write in C, Java, they have to be converted into machine language or low level language, which is the language of zeros and. So whenever we write any high level program, they has to be converted into machine language or what we call low level language, so that it can be converted to zeros and ones, so that the computer can understand the program. And that is why we have a compiler and we have an interpreter which convert the high level language program to the low level language program or machine language program. We have assembler which convert assembly language program to the low level program. So these are all the say hardware part. All these hardware part, we need to supply some program which is the software part. Software or program or instructions, whatever you call, they can be written in at least three languages. Language, one is assembly language and one is machine language, which is zeros and one. Language we will discuss, it is in between high level language and low level language, and but they have and one which is easier task as compared to the high level language, and that is why they have been developed. So all these languages to be converted into low level language. about IAS machine. Institute of the IAS machine was built at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey. It is sometimes called the Von Neumann machine, since the paper describing its design was edited by John von Neumann, professor at both Princeton University and IES. Built from around 1945 until early 50s. The general organization is called von Neumann architecture, even though it was both conceived and implemented by others. This is a beautiful, say, lines are written here just to pay the. You can appreciate the this fellow John von Neumann, that how great achievement was there. So it is all these machine which we have seen here. Yes, machine, Princeton architecture, John von Neumann machine refer to the same concept. That is the computer system which shares program and data memory has to be. Just to show some more thing like the John von Neumann model. This is just to make you clear that what von Neumann has done actually. What a great thing. This is general depiction of von Neumann system. These computer employ a fetch, decode, execute. Because instructions are stored in memory, instruction has to be fetched from main memory, then it has to be decoded, then it has to be executed. So these are the three process which is there: fetch, decode, execute. Fetch means to take the instruction from main memory, decode the instruction, that whether it is add or subtract or something else. So first is fetch, to take the instruction from memory, then decode, that what this instruction is, because the instructions are written in 1 and 0, so it has to be decoded, that whether it is add, subtract, multiply, logical instruction, and then has to be executed. So whether it is a simple program, whether it is a complex program, whether it is a simple computer, whether it is advanced computer, these process has to be done every time in the computer. Instruction has to be. Excuse me. Hello. Instruction R has to be loaded into main memory. Program concept says data will be there, operand will be there. It has to fetch the data. It has to decode that what kind of instruction has to be done. Update. The control unit fetches the next instruction from memory using the program counter to determine whether the instruction is located. These are just the sequence that the first the main memory takes the program, then instruction is decoded. So this is fetch, then instruction is decoded into a language that the ALU can understand. And any data operands required to execute the instruction are fetched from memory and placed into register within the CPU. So registers are the memory where the operand has to be stored within the CPU. So fetch instruction, decode, and then execute. And then you execute the instruction and place a result in registers or memory as required by the instructions. So the basic thing that we have CPU, so we have main memory. These things are at least will be there. Then we have a von Neumann model in which we have program and data. They share the same memory. And a store program concept means the program has to be loaded into main memory, executed, and after that, these thing has just this thing has to be done. Yes, fetching the instruction, decoding the instruction, and executing the instruction, and then places the result in the appropriate place depending upon the instruction. So I think fetch, decode, execute, and places the result to the memory or register, whatever is there. And then we have a slightly block diagram, even it is also small. To explain it more, we have central processing unit, which we have control unit, arithmetic logic unit, registers. So control unit controls the operation, arithmetic logic unit, which arithmetic and logical form operation. These are the memory to store operands, but they are within the CPU. That is why they have been given a specific name or a special name as a register. Memory is outside the CPU, so this is called main memory. IO device like printer, and these are the buses. This is the external bus which communicate among CPU, main memory, and IO devices. Inside the CPU, we have an internal bus. So up to this concept, we finished today that we have computer system. Just this one computer system. Then we have control unit, and then we have this one. So all these things are connected, and what we look as a computer, these things are there. So this is the simple block diagram, but it explains all the concept of computer, most of the concept. We have main memory, IO device, we have buses, we have control unit, arithmetic logic, which process the organization of a simple computer with one CPU and two IO devices. Many more IO devices. We may have multiple CPU, but this is the advanced concept. We will not going to deal with this one. So today we will finish today. Okay.